The ancient world continues to surprise us with discoveries that shake the very foundations of history and faith. Among the most groundbreaking of these are the discoveries of ancient Bible scrolls. These fragile documents, buried for centuries in caves, tombs, and ruins, have not only preserved the words of the past but have also presented mysteries that challenge long-held beliefs. To hold a piece of ancient scripture in hand is to step back into a time when faith, politics, and culture were deeply intertwined. But some of these discoveries have not simply confirmed what we already know. Instead, they have revealed alternate versions of sacred stories, hidden details about forgotten practices, and secrets that powerful institutions may have wanted to remain buried forever. What was found in these scrolls has the potential to reshape religion, history, and our understanding of humanity itself. The most famous of these discoveries is the Dead Sea Scrolls, uncovered between 1947 and 1956 in a series of caves near Qumran in the Judean desert. A shepherd stumbled upon the first cave by accident when he tossed a rock and heard pottery shatter. Inside were ancient jars containing scrolls that had been hidden for almost 2,000 years. Written in Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek, the scrolls date back to around 200 BCE to 70 CE. What made them extraordinary was not only their age but also the variety of texts. They contained portions of nearly every book of the Hebrew Bible, alongside writings that were completely unknown. Among them were community rules, apocalyptic visions, and hymns that revealed the daily life and beliefs of a Jewish sect that lived in isolation. These scrolls gave scholars the earliest versions of biblical texts ever found, pushing our understanding of Scripture centuries closer to its original form. One of the most shocking revelations from the Dead Sea Scrolls was that the Bible was not as fixed or uniform as many assumed. Before this discovery, people believed that the Hebrew Bible had been preserved without significant variation. Yet the scrolls revealed multiple versions of the same biblical books. For example, the book of Jeremiah appeared in a shorter form that differed from the one we have today. The Psalms were in a different order, and some books included extra passages that do not exist in modern Bibles. This raised profound questions. Who decided which version was correct, and when did the final canon become fixed? The discovery proved that the Bible was once a living collection of texts that evolved over time rather than a single unchanged work. Even more mysterious were the non-biblical scrolls, which opened a window into a forgotten community. Scholars believe the people behind these texts may have been the Essenes, a Jewish sect that separated themselves from the mainstream population. They followed strict purity laws, lived in communal settings, and awaited the end of the world. Some scrolls describe cosmic battles between the forces of light and darkness, hinting at a worldview where history was a grand struggle guided by divine power. Others described hidden calendars and secret rituals that never made it into mainstream Judaism or Christianity. This gave rise to speculation. Were these writings suppressed because they contradicted official doctrine, or did they represent an alternative tradition that almost vanished from history? Perhaps the most unsettling texts were the apocalyptic writings. Scrolls like the War Scroll and the Book of Giants describe visions of an end-time war between divine beings, angels, and humans. The Book of Giants even mentioned the offspring of fallen angels and human women, linking directly to the mysterious Nephilim mentioned in the Book of Genesis. These passages blurred the line between myth and scripture, raising the possibility that early religious texts contained far stranger ideas than what we read today. For many, it was difficult to reconcile the fantastical elements of these writings with the more structured versions of faith passed down through centuries. While the Dead Sea Scrolls are the most famous, they are not the only discoveries of ancient Bible scrolls that have left experts stunned. In 1979, archaeologists excavating a tomb in Jerusalem found two tiny silver scrolls that predated the Dead Sea Scrolls by about 400 years. These scrolls contained the priestly blessing from the Book of Numbers, making them the oldest known biblical texts ever discovered. Their existence proved that parts of the Bible were already written and circulated centuries before the Dead Sea Scrolls, confirming the deep antiquity of the Hebrew Scriptures. Yet they also highlighted how certain prayers and blessings were given special importance long before the full Bible took shape. Another startling discovery came from the Cairo Geniza, a hidden storage room in a synagogue in Egypt, uncovered in the late 19th century. Containing over 300,000 fragments of Jewish texts, the Geniza held everything from biblical manuscripts to mystical writings. Some fragments revealed variations in the biblical text, similar to what was seen in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Others contained writings that blended Jewish and mystical traditions, including discussions about the creation of the universe, angelic hierarchies, and secret names of God. This discovery showed that ancient and medieval Judaism was far more diverse than most people imagined, with streams of mystical thought existing alongside the established traditions. What truly shocked many experts was not simply the presence of different versions of Scripture, but what those differences suggested. If multiple versions of the Bible existed at the same time, who held the authority to decide which version was sacred and which was not? And if parts of Scripture were left out, what knowledge did humanity lose in the process? These questions became even more pressing when comparisons were made between Jewish, Christian, and other ancient religious texts. Parallels appeared between the Dead Sea Scrolls and early Christian writings, raising the possibility that both drew from the same cultural and spiritual traditions. Among the discoveries, one scroll stood out as particularly controversial, the so-called Copper Scroll. Unlike the others, which were written on parchment, this scroll was etched into sheets of copper. It listed dozens of hidden treasure locations, describing vast amounts of gold and silver buried in the hills of Judea. While some scholars dismissed it as a myth, others speculated that it could point to real treasures from the Second Temple in Jerusalem. If true, it would mean that priceless artifacts of Judaism may still lie hidden beneath the earth, waiting to be uncovered. Yet the Copper Scroll also carried symbolic meaning, suggesting that ancient communities placed immense value not only on spiritual treasures, but also on the wealth that sustained religious institutions. One of the most thought-provoking implications of these scrolls is the possibility that some texts were deliberately excluded from the official Bible. The process of canonization was long and complex, often influenced by politics and theology. Writings that did not align with the chosen doctrines may have been rejected or suppressed. When we read the Dead Sea Scrolls and other ancient discoveries, we are glimpsing into a world of lost scriptures that did not make the cut. It makes us wonder, what if some of those forgotten books contained truths that could have changed the course of religion? What if some ideas were buried intentionally to preserve power and unity? At this point, let us pause for a moment and reflect. Have you ever considered that the Bible we know today might represent only part of a larger, more complex spiritual tradition? The discovery of these scrolls is not just an academic curiosity. It is a reminder that history is written by choices and sometimes by omissions. What was hidden in the caves, the tombs, and the Genesis speaks to a world of competing ideas, beliefs, and visions of the divine. And perhaps, somewhere, more scrolls still lie buried, waiting to be found. Beyond the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Cairo Genesis, smaller discoveries continue to reshape our understanding. Fragments found in caves near the Dead Sea, as recently as 2021, revealed passages from the Book of Zechariah and the Book of Nahum. These fragments, written in Greek, show that the transmission of the Bible involved multiple languages and cultures. The survival of these texts across centuries and conquests highlights the deep resilience of Scripture, but also its evolving form. The shock of these discoveries is not just in what they tell us about religion, but in what they reveal about humanity. These scrolls are not only spiritual texts, but also historical documents reflecting the hopes, fears, and struggles of ancient communities. They show how people clung to faith in times of crisis, how they recorded visions of the end of days, and how they preserved words they believed were eternal. To study these scrolls is to step into the minds of those who lived thousands of years ago, facing wars, exile, and uncertainty, yet still holding on to their sacred writings. In conclusion, the discovery of ancient Bible scrolls is one of the most significant archaeological breakthroughs of the modern era. These scrolls challenge the idea of an unchanging scripture, reveal forgotten traditions, and force us to reconsider the path that led to the faith we know today. They remind us that history is full of complexity, and that the stories we tell are shaped not only by what was included, but also by what was left behind. The scrolls hidden for thousands of years have resurfaced, and with them comes a truth both unsettling and inspiring. The past is not finished with us. It continues to speak, and the question is whether we are ready to listen.